Hey everyone, it's Christian here from the Calcio Bros. Welcome back to another video here where once again we will talk about what happened in Serie A and as well the Champions League and Europa League. As we know, these games are coming thick and fast as the European matches are week after week, considering it's all condensed now because of the delay of the start of the season. So there is a lot to talk about as well. But once again, we're going to start with Serie A, where there's plenty of games, plenty of great results, some shocking results, of course, too, some terrible referee decisions, and you definitely know which game that is, and plenty of goals galore. So let's get right into the first game, which was very difficult to see at the beginning, but later was visible because of the heavy fog throughout the game in Reggio Emilia, which is Sassuolo Torino, which opened up the weekend on Friday, October 23rd. It was a 2:45 match, and this once again finished in a spectacle of a match. Torino had the goal early up. They led at halftime, you know, and they almost thought they could take it away. They were up 3-1 at one point, but Sassuolo once again with another comeback. They are the comeback kings at the moment, just coming back, trailing down, either getting the points from the game or getting the full 3 points. De Zerbi has done well to get his team going and scoring goals. But the one thing we also have to consider is with 5 games played, they've already let in 9 goals from where they are right now in the standings. So that's kind of heavy at the moment. I don't feel as though like if you're playing that well, yeah, to concede that many goals so far, you're conceding back to back 6 goals, I think it was, but it's heavy, and you can't always be relying on these comebacks. One of these days it's gonna bite you in the end, and you're gonna actually lose the game. So De Zerbi has to get his team together and make sure if they stay within a lead and not having to constantly fight back from 2 or 3 goals down. They've done an excellent job on doing that, but I don't want to see them constantly doing that because it will actually bite them in the end because then they won't be able to come back. It would be actually amazing to see if they constantly do, but they don't want to always be in that position of being down, having to get that. They want to make sure they're in the lead and secure the victory from the beginning, right? Speaking on Torino's behalf, this is actually their first point of the season. They thought they had won it, but they just couldn't secure themselves the 3 points after, again, because of Sassuolo's comeback here. So Torino will be a little disappointed that they couldn't hang on and get their first win of the season. They are still looking for it in 4 games. Here, as we know, they are still missing that Genoa-Torino game anyways, but once again, they still have not been able to get their first win of the season. Gianpaolo will definitely look to get something going. They do get their first point, but if it continues like this, Gianpaolo is going to be out of a job, which I'm surprised he still has one anyways. But Torino still also do have too much quality to not be relegated as well. But it is still only 5 games into the season, 4 if you're with Torino, but they want to pick up these points because they want to move out. Right now they're sitting in the relegation zone at one with only the single point. They're definitely going to finish with more than that, of course, right? But they want to start picking something up so they don't have to constantly be in that relegation zone. They're a mid-table club at least, maybe sometimes depending on how well they do top half finish, but at the same time they're not a bottom table side. They have the quality to keep them up, but there's just something that's not going, and it's costing them these points here. Let's move on now to Saturday, where we had some an interesting result first to start off. At 9 a.m., we had Atalanta Sampdoria. Atalanta will look to impress after um, once again, winning midweek against Michelin, while Sampdoria want to come after winning their game against Lazio the previous weekend. And this produced such a spectacle here as we had a 3-1 win for Sampdoria. So they go and beat Lazio, then beat Atalanta. Now, this was, I don't think anyone saw this coming, but you can still see the fragility in the Atalanta side. So this is a heavy result for them. This is back-to-back defeats now for Napoli, as they did, or sorry, for Atalanta, as they lost to Napoli the previous weekend. So that's 7 goals too in 2 games they conceded for Atalanta. So there's some defensive worries there, as well as they don't want to be. We know they can score goals, but they want to make sure they're not conceding that many either. So there are some defensive uh, cohesions, and all the tactics that they have to get together. Quadrarella, of course, scoring, because who doesn't score? How, like, if it's a Sampdoria game, like, when does he not score, right? So, but this is a big win for Ranieri's men, where they're starting to look like a team. They're starting to get the results needed. That's 3 consecutive wins for them, and it's against Fiorentina, Lazio, and Atalanta. So these are important victories here for Ranieri's men, and he's starting to get them well organized and really make them look like a threat here. So every team now should be careful, because it looks like they're ready to start winning some games and trample on other people. We had the midday game, Genoa Inter. Genoa were holding on as much as they can. They were defending well, denying Inter several chances here. But just after the break, Inter managed to break through thanks to a nice link-up play between the Barella and Lukaku, with Lukaku bearing it home past Pedin. And it just was all Inter. Like, they deserved the victory here. They dominated, but they actually did manage to score, and then D'Ambrosio adding a second late on to secure the 3 points here. Genoa still missing a lot of key players, because they were in quarantine, still recovering from their positive tests here. So Genoa still did have enough starters, but again, it's hard when you're missing a lot of these players from the beginning. But anyways, Inter got the result they wanted, they needed, and they kept it going. Genoa is still struggling. Here they are still sitting just outside the relegation zone right now, but they hope to start picking up some results. They haven't won since their opening match day win against Crotone. They'll hope to get a win soon, and they want to do better and not go with a relegation battle by the time the end of the season comes, right? Now we had the last game of the season. Last game of the season meant last game of the day. I'm already thinking end of the season, which I don't want that since it just started. We had Lazio Bologna here, where first half ended in a draw. Bologna actually thought they got the opener, but it was cancelled out because of a foul in the build-up. But then we had Luis Alberto just after the break score, and with a magnificent strike here, a solo effort to give it. Then Ciro Immobile scores once again to double it, with De Silvestri scoring a lone consolation goal for Bologna. But they did have their chances to equalize. Credit to them for almost getting it. Reina had to come up big, and yes, Reina was playing. I believe Strakosha is either out with an injury, or he could have tested positive. I wasn't clear on where he was, but anyways, he managed to help Lazio keep all 3 points and put them in a positive direction after losing to Sampdoria the past weekend. We will go on to uh, Cagliari Crotone, which opened up on the Sunday at 7:30. Remember, the games were an hour later, starting on Sunday, and this was a hell of a thriller here, finishing 4-2 for the home side here. Finished 3-2 halftime, only adding a lone goal in the second half. Crotone even saw a red card in Cigarini, who returned to the Sardinia Arena, and not the welcome back he wanted to have. Also, before I forget, I want to even, because there was a beautiful goal here scored by Lyko Janis on a free kick, and I forgot to mention in the Sassuolo Torino game, Kirikis scoring an absolute worldie in the top corner. I don't know how I forgot that. It's just goals by defenders. Like, come on. Lyko Janis free kick and a Kirikis stunner. I don't think anyone would have saw those coming, but I forgot to mention that. I just wanted to, because it just reminded me as well. Again, scoring a Absolute stunner there. So Cagliari got the job done that they needed. Simeone scoring, and of course Joao Pedro. Those two guys are working well together. They are clicking together, and Simeone's finding himself once again here at Cagliari. So I know things didn't work out too well at Fiorentina, but he is really coming together here in Sardinia. Now we had two games at 10 a.m. We had first off Parma Spezia. Spezia, after clinching a crucial point against Fiorentina last week, were hoping to get another positive result here. Parma also missing a few players because of positive test of COVID-19, but Spezia almost came away here with the victory. Instead of clinching a draw, they got a last minute penalty against them to tie it up. They were actually also 2-0 up on this game, but Parma managed to fight back and steal a point away. This was important for Parma. Again, like I said, they're missing players as well. And but still, this is crucial for Spezia because if you still think about it, if they can pick up points like this, come the end of the season, this will go to the head-to-head. They have the two away goals here on Parma, but Spezia, in this case, want to make sure they have and to secure 3 points in the end because it will come clutch for them come the end of the season because this was what they need. But still, a great result for Spezia nonetheless. Parma would have probably hoped to secure the win against the Spezia side, but what can you do again when you're missing players and stuff like that happens? They still managed to get the point at home and will hope to do better come next round. The other 10 a.m. game was Benevento Napoli. So we had the battle of the two brothers between Lorenzo and Roberto Insigne, and also the battle between two former teammates and coaches of Gennaro Gattuso and Pippo Inzaghi. Pippo Inzaghi's Benevento has done well. They have picked up 6 points in the 4 games beforehand, so that's still good for him, considering how Benevento was not the greatest before, but he's really turned them into a good side. And to open up the scoring was Roberto Insigne, who is also a former player of Napoli. So he scored to give his side the opener. And honestly, Napoli could have even had a goal right after it where they hit the crossbar a couple times too. Like they just got unlucky, but come the second half, they turned things around. Lorenzo Insigne scoring an absolute golazo on his weaker left side, going bar down. That was an incredible strike. That was amazing. I can watch that over and over again. Who would have thought, you put onto your weaker foot, score a goal going bar down. It can't get any better than that. That was incredible. And then Andrea Petagna, the new signing at Naples, scores the winning goal here and securing the 3 points for Gattuso's men, who continue their season. If it wasn't for the loss given to them by the league, they have won every single game given to them, and they are performing well. Napoli. I want to see how well they can keep going, but then again, credit to Benevento. Inzaghi has done an extremely well job with them. I want to see how else they can do against other top teams. Okay, yeah, they did lose to Roma and Inter, but they did play well for the most bit in those games before they conceded 5 goals. But they still have Juve to play. They still have Milan to play. Still have teams like Lazio as well. So they are going to be tested as well. But I do feel they can come out with victors. Again, their only losses have also come against Inter, Roma, Napoli, the big sides. So, okay, yeah, they can afford those losses, but they have to make sure they can't lose against other teams under them. They would want to get some result out of them. But anyways, Inzaghi can take notice. He knows what his team's capable of and can bring the best out of them here. Now we had the midday game or 1 o'clock game, we'll say, and Fiorentina Udinese, and this was a very entertaining game as well. Castrovilli scoring his 4th and 5th goals of the season, and all of last year he had 4 goals and has already topped that this year. Credit to him, he's having a great year so far, and even the 3rd goal that Fiorentina has scored now was a great goal as well for Udinese. Uh, Okaka scoring the 2 goals for them, and both on headers. So he has scored quite a few headers with them this year. I think it's about 9, and I was reading something where only a couple players have more headed goals than him all calendar year. So I believe he scored 9, with the only 2 players I think coming from the Bundesliga and Premier League having 10 and 11 goals, headed goals. So he does have a lot of headed goals. So just put him in the air for him, and he will score them. But I know Udinese can't always rely on them. Udinese also did have their chances in equalizing too, but Dragowski coming up big, saving them and securing the 3 points for La Viola. This is also important for Iachini, as he needed a win here after some disappointing results earlier on. They would hope to carry this come the rest of the season. If they pick up points like this, they can be safe, and he could even keep his job as well. But they want to make sure they secure it and keep defending well. Now, to end off Sunday at 3:45, we had Juventus Verona, and Morata, thinking he had scored a wonderful, wonderful chip, called offside. Guy can't catch a break with offsides at all. But come the second half, Juve played. They had their chances, but it was Verona after a Bernardeschi giveaway concede through Andrea Favilli, who actually grew up in the Juve youth system, scores and had to be substituted right away. You can tell he had pulled I think it was his hammy or his quad, somewhere in his leg. But anyways, he was substituted right away after scoring that goal. And Verona led for quite a bit of the second half before Kulusevski, with some wonderful footwork, put it in the bottom corner and salvaged a draw here for the Bianconeri. And this was a disappointing result for Juve, as it just puts them. I don't even know how to say it, because it's just a disappointing draw. It's back-to-back draws against Crotone and Verona, and it's a Juve side where we have known they would have won these fixtures, and they just can't pull away. And you can, it's maybe there's still something not clicking. I know they are missing Ronaldo, as he is still in quarantine because of his positive COVID test. But at the same time, you don't need to rely on just the one player. They have the talent and quality to do it. But Verona came up big, salvaged a draw here, and managed to get something away in Turin. And speaking of that too, Verona has never won an away game at Torino, whether it be at the Delle Alpi or the Allianz Stadium. They've just never won on a trip to Juventus, so they will take this point and continue on with that. It will give them good belief, but Juve really need to work on their capitalizing on against these teams like this. Again, like I said before, we would see Juve in the past win games like this. So this is a bit of a shock here. Big point for Verona. Juve will have to definitely step up if they want to once again go for another Scudetto run and show that they have the quality players to compete. So I don't know. I'm still not convinced about Pirlo as head coach and the way Juve's been playing. I know it'll definitely. I know a lot of players are praising Pirlo for his training and practices, but I don't see the results coming, and that's what matters too. I don't see Juve performing as well as they are. We are starting to maybe see the decline of Juve. You could see it a bit of last year. They did get a bit lucky with last year's Scudetto run. I will say that, okay, yeah, they did outperform some teams, or more because the other teams started to disappear at the end of the season because of the congested fixture list. But you can see Juve's quality is starting to dip, but they do have players this year who can definitely help. Chiesa, Kulusevski, Arthur, Bentancur, Dybala. They have these quality players, but it's just not working out for them. Now, to end off round 5, we had the last game on Monday. between Milan and Roma. It was hosted at the San Siro at 3:45. And this was an entertaining game, but also overshadowed because of some terrible referee decisions here. And we'll speak to right that. We'll get right to that as we'll start off Ibra scoring within a minute 49 into the first half. Lovely ball that was played over by Rafael Leao, and Ibra getting the game going for Milan. They continued their run. Roma equalizing afterwards after a terrible goalkeeping from Tatarusano, who is also in net because Donnarumma and Hauga, however you say his name, tested positive for COVID-19. Came out and just completely misjudged the flight of the ball and allowed Dzeko to score the equalizer. Now, come the second half, Milan picked up right where they started the first half in a minute 46 into the second, scoring another wonderful run from Leao, setting up Alexis Salamakers, who just tucked it away past Mirante. And then Roma getting a very dubious penalty as Tatarusano again spilled the shot. He may should have done a little better on it, but Benacer looking to collect the ball. Pedro stepping on Benacer caused, and to me, foul on Pedro, but referee thought it was I don't know what Benacer would have done. Called the penalty, and I don't know where that's coming from, but Benacer didn't even touch Pedro. Pedro's the one that stepped on Benacer, and the ref called the penalty. Veretout equalized there. And only a few minutes later, ball's played into Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who goes down in the box. And this was also a dubious penalty here. There was no chance it was. But you can tell the referee knew he had made a mistake from the Roma penalty and was doing a makeup call like that to make back the call that he did. And Ibra tucks away the penalty to bring Milan back in front. And then Ibra making a bad clearance at the end. Instead of heading it, he tries to kung fu kick it and goes across the face of goal where Kumbula puts it in at the back post and equalizes. So Milan concede 3, Roma concede 3, finishes 3-all. But there were, again, those penalties were the height of it. And there was even times in the game where players were, like, for an example, Kessie was going on the break and Dzeko pulled him back. Foul, but usually that's a yellow card. No yellow there. Some bad tackles. No yellow at all. Like, the ref did not want to hand out yellows, but then when he did, he handed out a yellow to Ibra for jumping up and supposedly elbowing the defender, but there was no elbow there as it was a handball by the Roma defender, which that should have been a penalty. So I don't know what the ref was doing at all. Both teams, you can tell there was tired legs in there as they had just played Thursday, and then they got to play Thursday again because of Europa League. So there were tired legs there for sure. But again, the ref clearly the center of attention here. This also does hold Milan's winning record. They are still unbeaten in 20 something games, but their winning start came to an end, but they still remain top of the table with this result. I don't think I would say maybe a tie would be a fair reflection of the game, but had the referee been better, that just changed the whole game there. We'll hope to see. I know there's supposedly Giacomelli could be either suspended 2 rounds or a whole month, depending. We're still waiting for the official announcement. I don't know, because there's all these reports coming out from everywhere. But even when he does come back, he would have to be starting in Serie B after what Rizzoli, the head of the referee organization, had seen. So I would say that's great punishment here. Whew. I felt like that was a bit of a great ramble, I guess. I don't know. So let me know what you guys thought of round 5. Definitely some shocking results, some great goals for sure. Let me know what you guys thought of some of these matches here. What are your thoughts on how well these teams can do? Do you guys agree with those terrible penalties as well that happened in Milan Roma? Do you think Juve can step up, get to where they need to be in order to succeed? Can Inter and Napoli continue their winning ways and potentially push for the Scudetto? Or is Milan that dark horse that after so long going to be the ones to break the cycle? We'll see. Just comment below. Let us know what you guys think for sure. Before we head back onto the Europa and Champions League, we got to talk about round 6 that's happening this weekend. We have opening on Saturday, 3 games, 10 a.m. Crotone Atalanta. Crotone hope to get a positive result. They're definitely going to, I feel, struggle against an Atalanta who will probably be too strong for them. But Atalanta, with back-to-back defeats in Serie A, will need this as a bounce back if they also want to be up there and qualify once again for the Champions League. They will have to do better, but maybe Crotone will try to take something from this. I feel can doubt it, but it's going to be. We're going to see what we can expect here from Crotone, but they did steal a point away from Juve. Maybe they can do the same against Atalanta, but Atalanta may just have enough too much force for them. We're going to have to see. Anything can happen, right? 1 p.m. we have Inter Parma. Inter will look to get another victory here, while Parma again will hope to get at least a point at the San Siro. If they can pull off an upset, that will be great for them. They can move them up in the standings and get another win here. But Inter, again, that's the thing. Inter can dominate. Sometimes it'll take them longer than they should to get an opening goal. But they need to make sure they finish their chances and break through the defense sooner than having to do that in the second half. I know they've done it eventually, but at the same time, they want it done sooner and not have to constantly work for it. They want to get the job done here and push up in the standings as well. 3:45 Bologna Cagliari. Now Cagliari have looked good, 2 consecutive wins. A third will definitely keep them rolling. While Bologna are disappointing, they have 3 consecutive losses and will hope to bounce back with a result at home. I feel this would be a very tight affair here. Bologna have looked good, but at the same time, they have been a little sloppy at the back. Defensive lapses have not helped them as well. They want to keep it together against a hot Cagliari side. We'll see who comes out in the end here. Now on Sunday, November 1st, time goes back to normal. So game is at 6:30. Here is Udinese Milan. I do feel maybe Milan should have got a later game after playing on Thursday, considering Roma and Napoli are playing later as well. So I don't feel how that works out for them. I know Milan's playing later on for Europa League, but at the same time, I feel they could have done with some more rest, considering they also had the early game as well. Maybe that's why, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. Anyways, Udinese will hope to shock Udinese. Udinese will hope to shock Milan again. When it's too much talking and you're just thinking too much on your mind, you know. As we know, Udinese defeated Milan last season at the Dacia Arena. They will hope to repeat that once again, but Milan looking hot, looking to continue their positive streak going forward in this match. They want to keep it together. Rebic may make an appearance. I know he wasn't risked during the Europa League match. He will hope to return to this game, and you know he got his first 2 goals for Milan against Udinese, so we'll hope to keep his fine form against them going. And Milan will look for another win to help push them to the top, help them stay in the top of the table, and continue with their undefeated run. 9 a.m. we have Spezia Juventus. Spezia will hope to maybe pull a shock result here against the current title holders. Juve will look to get a victory against the newly promoted side. You know, Juve should have too much quality for Spezia. All right, Spezia did lose against Milan as well, but maybe they can pull something away here. I know they did surprise Parma and Fiorentina, but those were 2 different type of sides compared to Juve. But Juve again looking a little lack of quality finishing. We'll see if Ronaldo can come back. We'll have to see the day before if he tests negative. I know he's already blasting that the league and protocols because he couldn't play against Barca. But Ibra says, he beat COVID because he followed all the rules and protocols. So if you test positive again, even if you're asymptomatic, you're positive. Like, just respect the test, do your quarantine, and you'll be good. Don't be that that I have to be there. It's a big match or whatever. I'm fine. You have it. You're asymptomatic. Sure, you may feel fine. You feel great, but you're asymptomatic, which means you're not showing anything, right? Sometimes when players think they're on top of the world, and you know, but anyways, let's see if you will appear. Juve will hope to get something out of this. This should be where they get a win here, but Spezia could pull a few surprises. Let's see what Vincenzo Italiano's men can do at home against the Bianconeri. The other 9 a.m. game is Torino Lazio. Now, Torino will hope to get their first win of the season, while Lazio want to try getting something. I know Lazio's also missing quite a few players as well because they tested positive as well. I think they had 5 or 6 cases, and they had to play a lot of their reserves even in midweek against Club Bruges, which we'll get into as well. But Torino will hope to take advantage of that and hopefully get their first win of the season and perhaps push themselves out of the relegation zone and hopefully get their season started with this win. It could be a tight affair, depend with the lackluster performances of Torino and the lot of players missing for Lazio, but maybe they can step it up. Who knows, right? Midday game, we have 2 games. We have Roma Fiorentina, and this should be an entertaining game. Fiorentina have looked good in some games, have looked poor as well, but they do have the talent. Castrovilli leading the lines there, and he could provide again an influential part of the midfield. And let's see if that can carry on as well into this game against Roma side. They play well, but they sometimes will have those defensive lapses as well. As we've seen Karsdorp too on that right hand side, who looks so fragile against Milan. If they can take advantage with Ribery and say Bonaventura on that left side, that can cause him troubles. But Roma will look to tighten up after again conceding 3 against Milan last game. So that's something that they want to tighten up and potentially keep their winning run at home going, or not winning, I guess second home win, right? And the other 12 p.m. game is Napoli Sassuolo. Napoli will look to win every game they've actually played. I've only seen actually played because they didn't play the one game they didn't play. They were handed a league loss. So every game they've played, they have won. So they will hope to continue that. While Sassuolo will hope to get a win here without having to come back. If they can get something here, would it be impressive? Sassuolo also one of the other teams not to lose so far this season, and they will hope to keep that against a strong Napoli side who do look unbeatable, and Gattuso's men have done well to keep themselves going in this run. Now, Sunday afternoon, we have the Derby della Lanterna, Sampdoria, Genoa. This should be a very feisty affair here. We have seen great action in the previous games between these two sides. Sampdoria, the more informed team out of the two, they will hope to keep that going and condemn Genoa to another loss here and have the bragging rights for the first game of the season. Genoa will hope to bounce back after that home defeat against Inter and get their first win since their opening day. I feel Sampdoria could come clutch here, but anything can happen in these derbies, and maybe Genoa could pull away, or we're going to see a draw. But I do feel it's going to be in Samp's favor here for the derby. To close off round 6, we have the game on Monday, November 2nd, 2:45, Verona Benevento, and Verona will hope to take away a victory here after drawing away to Juventus. While Benevento did play well against Napoli, will hope to bounce back, and this is, like I said, a game where Inzaghi should try and get the full 3 points out of it. It's going to be, I think, a tight affair, maybe a draw, but anything can happen with two sides who know how to attack. That definitely took my breath away there. A lot of talking and whatever. But Anyways, let me know what you guys think of these upcoming games. Can we see a bounce back from uh, Juve, uh, Milan, Roma? Can we see it's shocking some shocks here? Maybe Spezia, Parma, Udinese, Sassuolo. What can we see? Be sure to let me know what you guys think of the upcoming fixtures in Serie A for round 6 this weekend. Alright, so just after Serie A, I just want to quickly touch on Champions League and Europa League. Here we had on Tuesday, we had Inter playing away to Shakhtar Donetsk. Last time these two met were in the Europa League. Was it quarterfinals? Semifinals? I feel it was the semifinals. Inter completely thrashed Shakhtar 5-0, but this time around it was not meant to be, as Inter were held to a scoreless draw. They had so many chances, they dominated, but Shakhtar definitely would take the point here, as right now they're top of their group, as because they also beat Madrid in the first round. So Shakhtar will definitely take the draw as a positive sign. But Inter is still missing their first win of the group, and they have to play Real Madrid next turn. So that's something that they weren't hoping for. They would have hoped to do better and hopefully break through. But even the 19-year-old keeper for Shakhtar, he held his own and came up big when he needed to make the saves. I know now this weekend as well, I forgot to mention, and coming next round, Lukaku is in doubt for the upcoming fixture. So that is a huge loss if true for Inter. They really need something going if they hope to qualify for the next round. Later that day, we had Atalanta Ajax. Ajax were up 2-0 in the first half. A penalty given and a goal where Sportiello should have maybe held the ball better. That just crossed line, but Zapata right away after the start of the half came away and equalizing for the two sides. Sportiello did come away with a huge save just after the break to deny Ajax a third goal, because if that went in, that could have been game over for them, but they managed to salvage a point here. And Atalanta will definitely have to do better because they play Liverpool next round. That's going to be a very tight and tough affair for them. So a draw is good, but I know they would have hoped to win and not gone 2 goals down here. Wednesday, we had Club Brugge versus Lazio. Lazio, like I said, were missing a lot of their key players, Lucas Immobile. I believe they're missing Luis Alberto as well, Strakosha. So a lot of first team players, but they managed to come away with a result. Correa opening up the scoring here, but Club Brugge scoring late in the first half with a penalty. Both teams had their chances to score. Lazio, again, with Milinkovic-Savic just being denied by Mignolet, but Lazio managed to hang on. There were times where Club Brugge had several chances to score, but they got the tie, and I think this was a good result considering the circumstances for Lazio. And next game they do play Zenit, so they hope to get a victory here and go top of the group if they can. Then the other game was Juve Barcelona. Like I said, Ronaldo was disappointed that he tested positive and could not participate in this game. And Juve, it's not like they were hugely dominated in this game, but they were definitely, I don't want to say they were hugely outplayed, but that you can tell the inexperience came there. I will say Morata once again, 3 goals called for offside. The guy really can catch a break, and all of them have been really close offsides. There was one that they actually had to get VAR to check, and man, it was close. The guy really just can't catch a break. Barcelona opening with Dembele, who scored with a huge deflection that Chesney had no chance on. Juve also in more worry as Demiral had gotten sent off as well. So that reduces their center backs. Maybe they just have 1 or 2. I can't remember now because I know they have a whole bunch injured. But then Bernardeschi, who was playing left back, who you can tell is not a left back, concedes a penalty where Messi tucks it away and secures the 3 points for Barcelona. And you can tell the experience came into here from Pirlo, from players who have not played on stages like this, like Kulusevski, Chiesa. You know, you could really tell it came here, and their lack of experience in the big matches like this, it definitely, you can definitely tell Juve will hope to bounce back against a team called Ferencváros, which they should beat if all goes well, and they should get the points again against a team like that. But they would hope to do better when they visit the Camp Nou in a few weeks' time. So that's the Champions League games. We're going to go quickly touch on the Europa League games here. We had Milan host Sparta Prague, where they came away with the win 3-0. Brahim Diaz once again scoring in the Europa League. Ibra missing a penalty, hitting the bar. Portuguese connection between Dalot and Leao, where Dalot sets up Leao for just a simple tap-in. Lovely play between Benacer, Dalot, and Leao. Then another lovely pass from Benacer to Dalot, who finishes and scores his first and only his second appearance for the club in Europa League. So huge victory here, and with that, Milan have gone now 23 games unbeaten, and what a run they have here. Again, they'll hope to continue that against Udinese on the weekend, and as well against, if they can get a positive result there, they will hope to get a positive result against Lille as well in the upcoming Europa League game. Right now, Milan is top in the group as they have 2 for 2. Lille tying against Celtic in the other game here. We have Real Sociedad and Napoli. Napoli wanted to bounce back after a disappointing opening fixture against AZ Alkmaar, and Napoli did what they could with Politano scoring the winner here. Another slight deflection that helped pass it away. Sociedad did have their chances as well. But the one thing too with Napoli is that they did lose Insigne once again to an injury. He was probably rushed back. Maybe should have given some more time to rest. But he goes off injured once again. And Osimhen sent off for a double yellow. Unlucky with the second yellow, albeit maybe. There was a bit of arm flare, but he just got unlucky. But they lose another attacking man up front for their next match against Rijeka, where they should take that away. But a good bounce back victory for Napoli, and they will hope to take it going forward. Roma, CSKA, Sofia, where both teams had their chances to score. Roma couldn't capitalize on a lot of chances. That one play with, I don't know who it was, but Mkhitaryan and someone else. But that was a lovely play where Mkhitaryan hit the bar on that. But both teams had the chances to score. No team where it managed to. So the only teams to win in Europe was Napoli and Milan. Out of 7 games, we only had 2 wins. Poor outing considering the last week we had. Roma will hope to do better as they go and face Cluj this in the upcoming week. They want to do better and hopefully go top of the group there. Well, actually, they are top of the group right now. Maybe. I can't remember how Cluj did in their other game. But anyways, they will hope to get going and continue on a positive run here. All right, I think that's enough there. Let me know what you guys thought of the Champions League and Europa League action this week. Be sure to comment how you guys will think the new round will be coming, what you guys think will happen in Serie A. So be sure to comment below, let me know. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to click the bell to receive all notifications on all our latest video. Subscribe for more Calcio content, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Calcio_bros, for any updates regarding any news from players as well, players, teams, and as well updates during the games as well. So don't forget to do that, guys. We'll hope to hear from you guys soon. Ciao.